comes on board, the way they treat us as if we are not human beings. Mr. Speaker, recently there was a video that went around Cameroon, former Prime Minister, making jest of Nigerians and saying how we waste money or whatever. And this to me is unfair. Because if I could remember from what I've read in the history, even they themselves came to Nigeria, exploited our resources, and nothing happened. And we did not ban their people from entering our country. British government ought to have dealt with Nigerian government in terms of interfacing and discussing with the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to ascertain whether there is any carrier at all or any positive record of Omicron variant in Nigeria. They never did that. Instead, they just took a blanket decision. Mr. Speaker, I think that it's bad that they have taken this decision. It is not good for us. Because we are black does not make us less race in the world. And it's very bad. And this can be termed to be racist. I feel that this is a racist action that should be condemned by everybody, and it is bad.
The issue canvassed by the minority leader of the House are germane and to be seen to be used on that consideration. If not, we should be able to examine ourselves as a country whose economy was booming at the time, and yet economy is nosediving. At the time, in the University of Nigeria and Nsukka, most West African and African countries come to my school, for admissions and school. But today, the reverse is the case. But that being the case, Mr. Speaker, because our children's future is what we're trying to treat. Most of our children are in UK, as canvassed by a minority leader. We should look at that. Most of our children? I say most Nigerian children,
Please. Even my brother, we are speaking for Nigeria regardless of the number. But I don't think it is right for you to say most Nigerian children are in UK.
Well, some of our children are there. So based on that, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleague, I feel that on that compassionate ground, we should be able to diplomatically meet with the British government as members of the Commonwealth, through which our laws are also originated from that. You don't go to lock the gate after the goat has already escaped. That is what the UK is doing. I know families that are personally affected by this red list, putting Nigeria on the red list. People who have come here for a burial, they came all the way, a complete family, only to go back and they said no, they have to pay each of them £2,000 in a hotel for 10 days. I think there are other options that the United Kingdom can explore.
This is truly a wake-up call. The same UK that has blocked Nigerians, I'm very much aware that the highest number of passports that have been processed in the UK, over 20,000 of Nigerians. And despite what we have been doing to even generate revenue for the same government and trying to come back to backlash on us. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I expect that at this particular moment, let's initiate what are those bilateral relationship clauses that we have with such countries. What are those issues that can't we hit back? Can't we tell them the same thing? And why are we so much afraid of them?
I think the Secretary of the United Nations has captured it essentially. He said his travel appetite. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, when something is not driven by science, it's not driven by knowledge, it's just mere emotion, or more importantly, to assuage your local population for politics, for them to believe that you're trying to protect them, Mr. Speaker, is mistaken. So I think that this travel ban should be lifted. The House should intervene to make sure it comes into effect.
And to say the least, we even beg Nigerians, please take this nation. Now, what is the fault of the British government? If they said we should not enter their country, what is the fault? We should have done an internal self-assessment to investigate the reason and rationale. Why are they not happy that we have fought to the end the COVID and is phasing away, and somebody is thinking that he is not done with what he is doing in that office, and therefore the office should not be closed? So let us embrace, rightly or wrongly, the emergence of another COVID in another form, in another name. So for us to sit here and begin to castigate another sovereign country for taking a decision that we have admitted have capacity to inflict their own citizens, we are just being selfish.
This is a time that there is need for us to fix our country. We've had a whole lot of brain drain, Mr. Speaker, and we need to fix our healthcare. We need to fix our educational system. With this, we need to fix, Mr. Speaker, our security. Because most of the people that are being affected by the ban today are people probably wanted to go on Christmas holiday. Mr. Speaker, if we have had security, I don't see what would have been wrong for somebody from Enugu or Imo State driving all the way to Yankari resort in Bauchi, or somebody going to Nike resort in Enugu, or coming to Lomeridien in Akwa Ibom State, or going, Mr. Speaker, to Shiroro in Niger State to be able to spend his or her Christmas, or going to a Bay resort in Lagos. So, Mr. Speaker, my point is this.
You have not mentioned the mother of all presidents in Nigeria, and that's
Mr. Speaker, Jos, Plateau, in short, Wase local government in particular, Mr. Speaker. Wase local government. For us to come and enjoy the clement weather that looks like the weather of UK at this point of the day. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge us, if there's any time that we must rise and do the right thing to fix our country for the future of this country so that we avoid this embarrassment before us, the time is now.